I call to order the regular meeting of the Lakewood City Council of June 24th, 2013. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Murphy.
Here.
Ellen. Wickman. Here. Quinn. King. Here. Wilson.
Here.
Barraway.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Paul. Here. Coop.
Here.
Roybal.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. As always, I want to thank everyone for participating in their local government by either being here live in the audience tonight or watching us on TV at home or live cast on the web. We very much appreciate your involvement, so thank you again. This time, would you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silent prayer? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Will the clerk please read item 4 into the record?
Item 4, proclamation, break for Bella.
And I would invite Bella and Christy Estes to come down and join me at the podium. So in a moment I'll ask Mayor Pro Tem Diana Wilson to read the proclamation. Just briefly, this, as you'll hear, this campaign started in 2009 in Arvada when then 5-year-old Bella Estes was unfortunately struck by a car while playing with neighborhood friends. So we're certainly trying to bring awareness to the fact that kids are out of school in the summer, and please be careful. So with that, Diana, would you please read?
Proclamation recognizing Break for Bella, Summer Driving Awareness Campaign, June through August 2013. Whereas, coinciding with the traditional end of the school year, the summer months of June through August represent increased activity among children in neighborhoods and surrounding streets, and whereas pedestrian fatalities involving children under the age of 14 are greatest during the summer months, with more than 80% of accidents occurring at non-intersection locations, and whereas motor vehicle crashes are a leading cause of death for children 2 to 14 years of age, and whereas each day more than 9 people are killed and more than 1,000 people are injured in accidents that involve a distracted driver, and whereas safe and attentive drivers who are not distracted and adhere to the posted neighborhood speed limit make our streets inherently safer for pedestrians, bicyclists, and other drivers, and whereas it is our duty as concerned citizens and parents to educate children about the importance of practicing safety and awareness while playing in neighborhoods. Now, therefore, be it resolved on behalf of the City Council and the people of the City of Lakewood, Colorado, I, Bob Murphy, Mayor of City of Lakewood, Colorado, by virtue and the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim recognition of the Break for Bella Summer Driving Awareness Campaign from the first week of June through August 2013, given under my hand and sealed of the City of Lakewood this 24th day of June 2013. Bob Murphy, Mayor.
I believe Christy and or Bella would like to say a few words.
Thank you for this proclamation. When I was 5, I was hit by a car while playing with my friends in front of my house. The accident was really scary. I will always remember it, and I hope that other children will remember to be careful while playing outside this summer.
Can I say a few words too? Thank you. My name is Christy Estes, and I am Bella's mom. I want to thank the Lakewood City Council for issuing a proclamation in recognition of Break for Bella. I work for a company called CIG, and when my daughter was hit by a car near our home, our team was deeply affected and moved to action. Obviously, Bella is a healthy 9-year-old now, but 4,000 sons, daughters, mothers, and fathers are killed each year while walking in their neighborhoods. As informed citizens, we can reverse these trends and create safer neighborhoods where children like Bella can play. As drivers, we can watch our speeds in neighborhoods, put away our cell phones, and drive distraction-free. And as parents, we can talk to our kids about safe neighborhood playing and teach them to be safe, attentive, and mindful pedestrians. We encourage everyone to get involved in our campaign by spreading the word and going to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/breakforbella. Thank you so much.
Thank you again for coming out tonight. Will the clerk please read item 5 into the record?
Item 5, Resolution 2013-32, appointing John Glaybach to serve on the Board of Directors of the Lakewood West Colfax Business Improvement District.
And again, this is a replacement appointment, right? Bill Marino, who's sitting in the back row. John Reinsma with Weston Solutions was serving on the board of directors of the Lakewood West Colfax Business Improvement District, and John has moved on, and John Reinsma, that is, has moved on, and John Glaybach has agreed to take his place. So this requires council action, and that's what we're doing tonight. I guess that will take a motion, so I'm ready for a motion.
Mayor Murphy, I move for the adoption of Resolution 2013-32.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions? All right, please cast your votes. And the motion passes unanimously. Thanks, Bill. This is the point in the meeting where the public is invited to address City Council on items that do not appear on the agenda. All items should be directed to City. All comments should be directed to City Council. I'm going to skip the usual paragraph about decorum in the chamber since there's few folks here tonight. There is a 3-minute time limit. The light will be green for the first 2.5 minutes, yellow when that time is reached, and then 30 seconds later will turn red, at which point we would ask you to wrap up your comments. No one has indicated a desire to speak during public comment by signing up on the roster. Would anyone in chambers wish to comment on anything that's not on the agenda? Okay, with that, public comment is closed. It's a quiet summer evening here in Lakewood. All right, on to the consent agenda. The use of the consent agenda has been made to expedite council action. Tonight, it just contains resolutions. Resolutions are items of routine nature. Members of the public will have an opportunity in a moment to comment on on the proposed resolution, actually. Any council member may request an item on the consent agenda be removed for separate discussion and action under general business. Will the city clerk please read the items on the consent agenda into the record?
The consent agenda consists of items 7 through 9 inclusive. Item 7, Resolution 2013-33, authorizing an incentive agreement between the City of Lakewood and Teramu BCT, Inc. Item 8, accepting the minutes of the Advisory Commission for an Inclusive Community Executive Committee meeting of May 1st, 2013, their full commission meeting of March 20th, 2013, and the Lakewood Planning Commission meetings of May 15th and May 22nd, 2013. And item 9, approving the minutes of the regular City Council meeting of June 10th, 2013.
At this time, I will open public comment on the proposed resolution on the consent agenda. Would anyone in chambers wish to comment on that item? I'm going to talk about it a little bit in just a sec. All right, with that, we will close public comment, and I'm ready for a motion.
Mayor Murphy, I move for the approval of the council minutes, for acceptance of the minutes of boards and commissions, and for adoption of resolutions, all of which were included in the consent agenda items and introduced into the record by the city clerk.
So item number 7.
Second.
Sorry. The resolution that's on the consent agenda, which is item number 7, is authorizing an incentive agreement between the City of Lakewood and Teramu BCT. And just a minute about that. That is a company that has a long and storied history in Lakewood. They have been here since 1967, I believe, when they started out as Cobe Labs, became Gambro, later became Caridian BCT, and now they're called Teramu BCT after a buyout about a year and a half ago by a Japanese-based company. They are headquartered here in Lakewood. They are our largest private employer with nearly 2,000 employees. Very, very significant to our community. We, and I say we, Nanette Nealon, our Deputy City Manager, and her team in their capacity in economic development have been in talks with them for many, many months now about expanding their number of employees here in Lakewood and also building a new headquarters on their campus over near the Oak Street Light Rail Station in our Lakewood Technology Center. So, this is something we don't do often, but in this case, the importance of this particular company cannot be overstated. So they're going to bring a number of new jobs, 180 to more than 200. How many? 400 new jobs. Starts out at 180 and builds up a little bit at a very, very high average salary. I believe I read $69,000. And these are not jobs that necessarily require a college degree. They do bloodborne technology work over there. They run 2 or 3 shifts a day in their manufacturing plants. So great company and extremely important to the city of Lakewood. So that's what that one is all about. So we have a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Any comments or questions from anyone? All right. With that, please cast your votes on the consent agenda. And the motion passes unanimously. Now that all seemed rather easy, a matter of city council voting. I really want to thank Nanette and her team. I know Neil is here. Yes, I think I saw Neil Marciniak here. There you are in the back row. This is something that our economic development folks have been working on for a long, long time. City Council did get a very, very thorough briefing on this in an executive session a number of weeks ago. So, again, we thank you very much for your hard work over these many months on that. This is a company that's absolutely critical to the city of Lakewood, and they've been a great, great partner for their 45 years here in our community. All right, on to the latter part of the agenda. We have 3 items. Item 10, 11, and 12 that kind of all relate to fire and fireworks, and we're going to kind of treat them as a whole. We'll certainly vote on them separately when the time comes, which we must do under our laws, but I'm going to ask the city clerk to open all 3 at once.
Item 10, Ordinance 2013-11, amending Section 5.20.010 of the Lakewood Municipal Code relating to fireworks and further declaring an emergency. Item 11, Ordinance 2013-12, revising Section 9.32.110 of the Lakewood Municipal Code relating to the prohibition of open fires. And item 12, Ordinance 2013-13, adopting a new Chapter 9.39 of the Lakewood Municipal Code, authorizing the declaration of fire restrictions and fire bans by the city manager or designee, and further declaring an emergency.
And to sort of introduce all 3 of these items, I would ask Kit Lammers from our city manager's office staff to come forward. Kit?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for the opportunity. First, I'd like to, I'm going to give a presentation on all 3 of these, but first I'd like to go ahead and introduce Bruce Krall, who's the West Metro Fire Marshal, and he'd like to give an update on the current fires that are going on and also talk about West Metro's support for them.
All right.
Thank you, Kit. Good evening, Mayor, Council. It's a pleasure to be here to speak to you tonight. Colorado is a busy place right now. There's 11 fires currently burning in the state, all of federal level response, which is actually down from what it was yesterday because the West Fork fire used to be 3 separate fires. Now they're calling it one big fire. So we're down a couple fires because now we have the biggest fire in the nation. West Metro, your fire service, has 9 personnel deployed. through the federal program, so they're actually federal employees right now, and 2 of our brush trucks, which are staffed with 3 people each. So they're at various fires throughout the state. We have 1 brush truck at West Fork with 3 personnel. They recently just went from Lime Gulch, and since that's now under control, they drove directly from there down to West Fork. We have another brush truck at East Peak, which is by Wallensburg, that has 3 personnel plus 1 oversight, because it takes quite the command staff to run a fire like that. And to give you an idea what that might be like is West Fork could easily turn into $1 million a day fire because of all the staff it takes to work on that kind of a fire. We also have a strike team leader that's just closing things up in Lime Gulch, and we have a planning person at the Wild Rose Fire, which is somewhere outside of Fort Collins. I could not find it on the map. So our firefighters are deployed, and again, they are at this point federal employees because they're all federal level fires. It doesn't mean they've been declared disasters like the Black Forest one was. West Fork is likely to become a disaster. Do you have any questions for me?
Just, on behalf of everyone, thank you for what you do to protect our community each and every day, and particularly in this case, we're pitching in to help on these dreadful situations that are happening around the state. So thank you.
Well, something to be aware of. When we do go out and help, what we do is gain that expertise. So if there were ever to be a fire of that size in Jefferson County, it won't be our first one. We'll have gained expertise throughout the country at these sorts of incidents. And I appreciate your thanks as we sit here in the nice air-conditioned room.
Right, right. There's a lot of people out there working very, very hard, so thank you. Also want to recognize Pam Feely, the chair of the West Metro Fire Board, who's in the audience tonight. Thank you for being here. All right, great.
Thank you. So just to continue, the first one I'm going to address for the ordinance is the fire restrictions and the ban, which is ordinance 2013-13. And to give you some background, staff started looking at this. After last year, when we had the fires and we had some fire restrictions in Lakewood, and started looking into this. And right now, we only have the authority to enact fire restrictions within the parks within Lakewood. This ordinance actually gives us the ability now to enact fire restrictions on a citywide basis. And as we were putting this together, we coordinated very closely with West Metro Fire, the Jefferson County's office, Sheriff's Office, Wheat Ridge Fire Protection District, and others throughout the city when we were putting these together, because we wanted to make sure that we looked at everything as a whole so that we weren't radically different than the county's restrictions. And so it made sense when we were informing the public that we had similar restrictions across jurisdiction lines. So this would protect undeveloped areas where the brush and trees have been allowed to grow in a natural environment, as well as limiting the risk of fire from fuel which can't be turned off, such as charcoal. When we were looking through this, staff took a lot of consideration into the diversity of Lakewood and the different areas that we have. There's, the fire danger in Belmar is much different than the fire danger in Bear Creek Lake Park. So we wanted to look at it very closely and make sure we weren't impacting people in the two areas widely differently because of some other area in the city. So I think we have a nice balance with that. Within this, there's 2 stages of restrictions, and in this ordinance, we started by listing off the restrictions, then we went back and also listed the allowable activities, because we want to be very clear with this to make it as easy to understand as possible what is and what isn't allowed during this. And just to be clear, one thing that has been questions that we've gotten in the past has been on charcoal barbecues and portable fireplaces. And in both the Stage 1 and Stage 2 restrictions, residents can have portable barbecues and charcoal barbecues or portable fireplaces as long as they're more than 30 feet from an undeveloped area, is how we define that. I'm going to highlight the differences in the 2 stages. I'm not going to go through everything in there, but I'm going to try and give you the difference between the 2. Within Stage 1, there's no open burning without a permit. And I'm going to actually read the definition for open burning, which is any outdoor fire larger than a recreation fire that is contained within that is not contained within a portable outdoor fireplace that has a total fuel area of 3 feet or more in diameter and 2 feet more in height. This includes but is not limited to bonfires, the lighting of any fused explosives, the burning of fence lines or rows, grasslands, fields, farmlands, ditches, rangelands, and wildlands. And so that's the definition for open burning. The other thing this Stage 1 does is it places some restriction on smoking in areas. Oh,
No, sorry.
Okay. In areas that are not free of combustible material. And also we took into consideration the city's current smoking ordinance, so it doesn't conflict with that. And also no use of model rockets within city parks. So under stage 1, recreational fires are still allowed. You can still have recreational fires. You just can't burn in a ditch or a farmland or a row, but the small fires are okay. Stage 2, we observe all of the stage 1 restrictions, and we say no recreational fires. Now, you can still have the portable outdoor fireplaces and the charcoal barbecue grills as long as they're 30 feet from an undeveloped area. Within that, too, we also place some restrictions on welding outside near combustible material, and restrictions on combustible engines like chainsaws have to have spark arresters when you're operating within 30 feet in an undeveloped area. Under stage 2, the things that are still allowed are liquid and gas appliances. So you can still have, anything that you can turn off, basically. You can still have those. Those are allowed. Also under stage 2, we do allow, there is an exemption for professional fireworks displays as long as they have a valid permit to operate. I know in the past couple of months, Lakewood on Parade did cancel their fireworks show, and that event was made by the private entity, and it wasn't due to the city or because of this ordinance that's before you tonight. The other ordinance that I want to cover here is 2013-12, and that deals with the posting of information. And that was amended to include the city website, so that if we do have fire restrictions, that information does go up on the city website. It also makes sure that we still post the information at park entrances or other areas where it should be seen, where people who are going into the park would know that. Under the ordinance 2013-11, we're amending the definition of fireworks to include sky lanterns. And I've actually got a picture here that I brought so we can show that. If you haven't seen one before.
Very cool.
And sky lanterns are actually really neat. They're really neat looking, but they're also a very large fire danger. They're basically a small hot air balloon that's made of paper, and it has an opening in the bottom where you can see they light it on fire. There's a little material there that they light, and then the heat from that makes them rise up into the sky and they float off and down away. But they pose a danger of catching something on fire if it lands on vegetation. If the wind blows it, they're not a great thing. So we're recommending that be added to the definition of firework to make that illegal in Lakewood too. And as far as that goes, that's my pretty brief overview of that. Staff's here to answer any questions you guys may have over the items in this ordinance. So.
Okay, thank you, Kit. Very well done. I will now open public comment on actually any of the three ordinances. We're treating them all together for this portion of the presentation. Again, nobody's indicated a desire to speak by signing up on the roster. Anyone in chambers wish to comment on any of these items? All right, with that, I will close public comment, and I'm ready for a motion on item 10.
Mayor Murphy, I move for adoption of Ordinance 2013-11 on second and final reading.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. Mayor, just wanted to remind the council for the record that this ordinance, just like number 13, does have an emergency declaration.
Oh, thank you.
So it does require a 2/3 vote of the council in order to pass. And there is an emergency declaration contained in each of these two ordinances, number 11 and number 13.
Number 10 and number 12?
Well,
ordinance numbers is 11 and 13.
Item numbers, that's right.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Roybal.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to verify, do we have a permit process for having fireworks?
Actually, I'm going to refer to Bruce with the West Metro to answer that.
If your question is about professional fireworks displays,
That is correct.
Pretty rigorous permit process and paperwork, and then site visits to ensure that they're set up and protected per national standards.
So how does that work? Do they come to you, or do they come to the city, or do they? How would that work?
I'm not aware of a city permit.
Margie?
Actually, the city clerk's office accepts those applications, and we work hand in hand with West Metro to run them through the system so that they have a permission from both the city and West Metro.
Okay, thank you.
And again, that's a question specifically relating to professional fireworks displays. The setting off of fireworks within the city of Lakewood is illegal.
Correct.
And not just because of any action we might take tonight. Okay. All right. Any other questions? If, I can't remember where I was here.
Yep, now you're good. Now you're good. Now
Okay.
ask us to vote.
Yeah, but please cast your votes. And again, it's unanimous, 9-0. Ready for a motion on item 11.
Mayor Murphy, I move for the adoption of ordinance O 2013-12 on second and final reading.
All right, motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? If not, please cast your votes. And again, it's unanimous. And ready for a motion on item 12.
Mayor Murphy, I move for the adoption of ordinance O 2013-13 on second and final reading.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
No discussion.
Oh, yeah. Was there any discussion? Sorry. Okay, again, it passes unanimously. I want to thank you for your work in putting this together. I did want to, again, clarify something that Kit mentioned in his presentation. There was a story on a couple of the TV news outlets this morning about the number of cities who had banned professional fireworks displays, and I believe Lakewood was at or near the top of one of those lists. I just want to clarify that, again, we don't have, as a city, a professional fireworks display. For the last few years, Lakewood on Parade, which is held by a group of volunteers, did have a professional fireworks display. And as Kit mentioned, unfortunately, they had to cancel the event this year, and they did that a number of months ago. So just, again, a clarification there. All right, anything under general business, Margie? Nanette, executive report?
None.
Okay, on to mayor and city council reports. I want to spend a minute talking about an event that I was just at and an award that the city of Lakewood just received. You all know that the Colfax Marathon has been going on for, I think, 7 years now. Colfax, of course, ties together the communities of Aurora, Denver, and Lakewood, and all three cities, and a very large team has cooperated to put on that event every single year. This year they had, I think, more than 14,000 runners, by far the largest event they've ever had. They raised a lot of money for charity. In fact, there are 122 charity beneficiaries this year, again, by far the most in its history. The event is held on a Sunday, and this year, the Friday, 2 days before the event, the company that supplies all of the barricades and cones and all those things that keep people from straying into the route and actually keep us all safe, keep the runners safe, the spectators safe, the company went out of business 2 days before the event. And there was, needless to say, a lot of scrambling. And there was very serious discussion about not having the event. The phone started ringing, and when they contacted the city of Lakewood, our police department, I'm going to put this up here, our police department's traffic team, led by Sergeant Dave Hoover, who was there with me tonight to receive kind of a second version of this award, and our public works department really went together and tried to come up with a solution, as we do here at the city of Lakewood. Their answer was very simple. The Colfax Marathon will run through Lakewood on Sunday, and that's an example of the can-do attitude we have around here. One of the challenges was there was a company, this barricade company had gone out of business. There was another company that had the cones and barricades, but they didn't have the means to deploy. They didn't have the trucks and the manpower and that sort of thing. So our public works team, led by John Payton, and others, worked with our police department, and they got all that done on the Friday and Saturday before the marathon. And because of their collaboration and creativity and their willingness to do virtually the impossible, a very, very successful event happened. So, and the last thing I want to add about this award, this is to the city of Lakewood. Sergeant Hoover has a separate award for the police department. Something very special was done tonight, and this is the first time that they've given something they're calling the Champions Award. And more than that, it is named the Paul Ryan Champions Award. And Paul, of course, was a great friend to many of us, certainly a great friend to the city of Lakewood. He was Mayor Hancock's director of regional outreach, and tragically, and as we all know, passed away unexpectedly earlier this spring. So Paul's widow, Pam, was there tonight. It was really a very, very touching ceremony. So I want to thank Mayor Hancock and the folks from the Colfax Marathon for presenting us with this award. But most of all, Chief, I want to thank the police department and our public works department for everything you did to make this great event actually go off. So thank you. Diana?
No report.
Cindy?
Just a reminder that we will not have a study session next Monday night, so everybody have a safe and wonderful 4th of July. We'll see you on July 8th.
Pete?
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to reach out to Public Works, Street Maintenance, and I wanted to thank them for replacing our curb and gutter throughout Ward 3. Also would like to reach out to Kit Bogdan and Steve Carpenter. Also has done a phenomenal job in our two parks, Lasley Park and Founders Park. They have repaired all the playgrounds, replaced trees, replaced concrete. They are phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Coop?
No report, thank you.
Councillor Paul? Councillor Johnson?
No report.
Councillor King? No. Councillor Wickman?
No report.
No.
Margie? Tim? Nanette?
No report.
Okay, with that, we are adjourned at 7:32. Thank you.